So hello and good evening everybody. मेरा नाम सैयद अरशान अली है. Now we are going to pick up the poem When Great Trees Fall. अभी तक Act 1 कर लिया है हमने पूरा, सॉरी Act 1 कह रहा हूँ, पूरा जूलियस सीजर का Act 3, 4 and 5 कवर कर लिया है. अच्छे खासे प्रोजेस और पोएट्रीज भी कवर कर लिए हैं. अब हम लोग इस पोएम के साथ पिकअप करने वाले हैं. Now bear this in mind, this is a very remarkable poem and it will touch every student to their core, right? Even if they are male, if they are female, even if they are emotionally very strong, they are not emotionally very stable, हर बच्चे को ये poem touch करने वाली है because it talks about something which is deeply rooted in all of our lives, और this is something that is bound to happen in everybody's life as well, right? तो बड़ा हो छोटा हो जो भी हो, this poem talks about a sense of loss which is imperative in everybody's life, in everybody's journey. So ये पोएम बहुत ही उस तरीके से आपके हार्ट स्ट्रिंग्स को टच करने वाली है, और एक तरीके से दिस इज अ पोएम which starts very tragically, it opens very tragically, it opens very melancholically, but it ends on a very beautiful note, right? तो वो भी जानेंगे क्या है. And firstly you need to regard this author Maya Angelou. Why? Because she is one of the most imperative writers in history. आप इस poem में भी देखोगे how she has very beautifully woven everything. She has combined ideas and aspects which are poles apart in sense of literal literature, but she has completely encased it in a way that you understand what she's trying to mean. She has not been very direct here, but she has been very focused with this work. And maybe this comes from something that happened in her life. Maybe she lost a dear friend, and that's why she has written this poem, and that is why it talks about the loss of somebody, and it encapsulates it in such a way that it is very relatable to us all, right? It also talks about how when great individuals fall, what is the sense of loss, the magnitude of it. It talks about that. और मैं बहुत ज़्यादा लंबा एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं करूँगा because there are very deep and detailed explanations and students get hassled by it. मैं इतना बेहतर तरीके से पढ़ाऊँगा कि आपको within the span of time I am teaching, you will get to know what is important for your boards, what do you need to focus on, and कैसे आपको अपना आंसर्स वोव करना है इसमें से की फ्रेजेस निकाल के. करेक्ट? सो लेट्स बिगिन विद द पोएम. लाइन बाय लाइन एक्सप्लेन करेंगे आपके लिए, and I will hopefully not leave a stone untouched. So the poems open with when great trees fall, right? So what is the first sense that you get? A great tree is falling. What does it signify? What is a great tree? A great tree here is referring to an great individual. It is talking about an individual who was very great in a sense, right? Somebody who is very remarkable or imperative or very important in your life, a cornerstone in your life, such as your parents, such as your teachers, such as your elders, right? Such as your uncle and aunts, such as your friends. It is talking about that. When a great tree falls, rocks on distant hills shudder. Now, a great tree is somewhat of a massive tree, and a tree is symbolically very strong. It shows resilience. It shows resilience, and it also shows stability. It also showcases stability, right? So when something like that is falling, rocks on distant hill, rocks is also signifying strength, and rocks are supposed to signify strength, and they also signify a lot of stability in them, and they being on distant hills, मतलब यहाँ नहीं, बहुत दूर की hills पे वो rocks हैं, they are going to still shudder. When somebody who is of a great standing, they fall, even the rocks, मतलब individuals who are not very close to them in a regard, still shudder. Shudder meaning they still shake, right? Somebody who is very remarkable in your life, कोई ना कोई ऐसा इंसान जरूर होता है सबकी जिंदगी में. वो आदमी अगर क्या कहते हैं उसका देहांत हो जाएगा, तो आपसे आप तो परेशान रहेंगे ही, आप देखेंगे आसपास के जो उसके दूर के जानने वाले हैं, दे आर ऑल्सो गोइंग टू बी मूव्ड बाय इट, दे आर गोइंग टू बी शेकन बाय इट, राइट? Lions hunker down. So it talks about two animals here, lions and elephants, two of the most strong animals, two of the most dangerous animals in a way. They are also moved by it. Lions hunker down, matlab they crouch, like here this lion is sitting, you can see. So these lions also hunker down, they sit in tall grasses. If you have seen a savanna, Animal Planet पे बहुत बच्चों ने देखा होगा, if you have seen a savanna, तो वहां पे बहुत tall grasses होती हैं. So this is saying that even these animals, they hunker down, they sit down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety, and even elephants look for safety here. Elephants also look for reassurance, right? They also are looking for reassurance. They are also very disturbed by the loss of this great individual. So it is talking about even the strongest of individuals are moved by a death of somebody who is very great in a way, right? When great trees fall in forests, small things recoil into silence. अब जब बहुत great trees fall, अब एक जंगल में, जंगल हमारी जनता है एक तरीके से मान लेते हैं, उस फॉरेस्ट में एक ग्रेट ट्री अगर गिर जाती है तो छोटी छोटी चीजें, स्मॉल थिंग्स आर ऑल्सो रिफरिंग टू वीकर इंडिविजुअल्स. दैट इज माई पर्सनल बिलीफ दैट इट टॉक्स अबाउट वीकर इंडिविजुअल्स. रिकॉइल इनटू साइलेंस. रिकॉइल अगर आपने गेम्स वगैरह खेले होंगे तो उसमें गन होती है, उस पर रिकॉइल आता है. दैट इज व्हेन समथिंग हैपेंस एंड देयर इज एन इमीडिएट इफेक्ट ऑफ इट, इट इज कॉल्ड रिकॉइल. सो दे रिकॉइल इनटू साइलेंस, शॉक, complete and utter shock. When somebody dies, the first sense of emotion is not tears. The first sense of emotion is shock. अरे कल तो बात हुई थी, right? अभी तो मिले थे. So that is the first thought that comes to you. Then the person breaks into tears. So when small things, weaker individuals or emotionally more unstable individuals, they recoil, they go into silence, they go into utter shock and disbelief when this happens. Their senses eroded beyond fear. उनके जो senses होते हैं, they get eroded beyond fear. वो fear नहीं होता है सिर्फ, it goes past fear. fear से भी कई ज्यादा बढ़ के उनके साथ ये चीज होती है. They feel it further than what a normal individual does, right? It is not fear that grasps them, it is something beyond fear. Now moving on, when great souls die, now it now comes back to the entire theme of the poem. Somebody who is very great, he is dying, right? So when great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, sterile, right? So what is it trying to mean? जब हमारे आसपास एक बहुत अच्छी और ग्रेट सोल जाती है तो हमारे आसपास की जो हवा है वो हल्की महसूस होने लगती है, रेयर महसूस होने लगती है, और स्टेराइल. स्टेराइल इज, अगर आपने थोड़ा बहुत भी डॉक्टर्स एनाटॉमी देखा है तो इट टॉक्स अबाउट स्टेरिलिटी. स्टेरिलिटी इज बेसिकली नो लाइफ बीइंग प्रेजेंट, नो लाइफ बीइंग प्रेजेंट, राइट? killing all of the life in that sense, right? अगर आपको बोला जाए कि we need a sterile knife for this activity, first thought would be wash it with alcohol. Why? Because if you wash that knife with alcohol, all of the bacteria and organisms on that knife will die. So that is what it is trying to refer. The air around us feels light, it feels like something is empty. It is talking about emptiness, right? The correct word would be emptiness. It talks about emptiness. It is very rare. It feels very unusual. It feels very new. It does not feel the same as it has felt before. We breathe briefly. हम धीरे धीरे सांस लेने लगते हैं. We do not have the same rhythm of breath we usually have. We breathe briefly, short breaths लेने लगते हैं हम लोग, है ना, shortened हो जाती है हमारी breath. Our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. जो हमारी आंखें हैं वो briefly देखती हैं a hurtful clarity. यहाँ पे एक तरीके सेंस ऑफ अटर शॉक भी बताया जा रहा है. आपकी सांस हल्की हो गई है, आप देख नहीं पा रहे हो. When you are seeing for a very brief moment, and whatever you are seeing is a hurtful clarity that this person that we had is gone. Our memory suddenly sharpened, examines, gnaws on kind words, unsaid promised walks, never taken. तो वो क्या कह रहा है? The poet is trying to say, then comes the hit of memories, है ना, अचानक से memories hit करने लगेंगे. Imagine somebody comes to you, tells you that the dear friend of yours is gone. First instance, अरे कल ही तो मिले थे, ये बात हुई थी, how is this possible? Next, you will have the utter sense of disbelief. कैसे हो गया? Then a clarity will come. Okay, this has happened. I have to live with it in a way. फिर आपको उसकी सारी जो भी छोटी यादें हैं वो आने लगेंगी. ये वहाँ जाया करते थे कुल्फी खाने, वहाँ जाते थे घूमने, वहाँ जाते थे एक दोस्त से मिलने. तो all of it will start to hit you, right? And you will start to examine everything. अरे यार उसके साथ ये करते थे, कितना बड़ा लगता था, कितना मजा आता था. नॉस का मतलब बेसिकली स्क्रैचेस, है ना, स्क्रैचेस ऑन काइंड वर्ड्स मतलब जो अच्छे वर्ड्स थे, जो कहना था, कुछ ऐसी बातें थी, जैसे कुछ बात कहनी थी कि भाई तुम बहुत अच्छे लगते हो यार, तुम्हारा वे ऑफ लाइफ, तुम्हारा वे ऑफ थिंकिंग बहुत बेहतरीन है. कुछ ऐसी बातें कहनी थी जो रह गई, कह नहीं पाए उस आदमी से, और वो आदमी खत्म हो गया. हमेशा होता है, इफ somebody dies, there is never enough you can tell a person when they die, right? Before they die, right? You will always have something. If you love them deeply, if you have care for them deeply, you are never going to be able to tell them every single thing that is needed there, right? Promised walks never taken. This is also signifying promises that were made but left unfulfilled, right? ऐसे बहुत चीजें होंगी जो आपने प्रॉमिस की नहीं होंगी. जैसे कोई दोस्ती का एग्जांपल फिर से लेते हैं, यार कल चलते हैं चाय पीने शाम को. नहीं भाई कल नहीं जा पाएंगे, परसों चलते हैं, है ना. That day after tomorrow never came. The person died. So you will start to feel irritated and guilty about it, that अरे कह रहा था तो चला ही जाना चाहिए था यार, आखिरी बार मिल लेते कम से कम उससे. So that is the sense of reality that will hit when something like this happens. Great souls die and are reality bound to them. Takes leave of us, our souls dependent upon their nurture. Great souls when they die, वो अपने साथ हमारी सेंस ऑफ रियलिटी को भी मार देती हैं, विच वर बाउंड टू देम, विच वर इंस्लेव्ड टू देम इन अ वे, है ना. when somebody of a great standing in your life passes, it also affects the sense of reality that इसके साथ मुझे ये करना था, है ना, वो भी आपसे चली जाएगी. that also leaves you and you are left with a soul which feels very empty. Your soul, right, takes leaves of us, है ना. The person has left and he has taken all of the sense of reality and all of the promises with him. Our souls dependent upon their nurture. हमारी जो आत्मा है, which is now feeling empty and alone, was dependent upon their nurture, was dependent upon their existence and how their existence mattered to us, right. अगर वो जिंदा रहते तो it would have been a better place for us. Now shrink and wizened. अब वो सिकुड़ सा गया है और wizened हो गया, मतलब it is withered, मतलब वो भी जो sense of reality था, it has withered away. Our minds formed and informed by their radiance fall away. Our minds formed and informed by their radiance, उनकी जो exuberance थी, उनकी जो light थी, the warmth that they were able to bring into your life, it is all gone, right? Our minds, which were formed and also informed whenever needed by these people, that all has left. The light of their existence has left us. We are not so much maddened as reduced to unutterable ignorance of dark cold caves. We are not so much maddened, हम लोग we are not maddened as reduced to unutterable ignorance of dark cold caves, है ना? हम लोग जो हैं पागल नहीं हो रहे हैं, बट वी आर रिड्यूस टू अनअटरेबल इग्नोरेंस. वी कैन नॉट इग्नोर दिस, एंड वी आर इन अ सेंस इन अ वेरी डार्क, इन अ वेरी कोल्ड केव, राइट? अगर आपने कोई ऐसी केव देखी हो विच इज वेरी डार्क, इट इज वेरी कोल्ड एंड इट इज वेरी डिप्रेसिव, and you feel that you are encompassed in that cave and you feel claustrophobic there, right? The sense of claustrophobia starts hitting you, that okay, this person has gone, this was a wall to me, and now I am in a cave myself, and I cannot move as though I would have liked to, right? So it all feels that it ends with that person, right? And when great souls die after a period, peace blooms, है ना? नाउ अब जब ये ग्रेट सोल्स खत्म हो गई हैं, तो उसके कुछ वक्त बाद पीस वापस आने लगेगी. इट विल ब्लूम वंस अगेन, slowly and always irregularly. Spaces fill with kind of soothing electric vibration, है ना? अब after a period signifies a sense of time. It signifies a sense of time which has passed, है ना? After a sense of time, after some time has passed, then you are going to make peace with it, है ना? Okay, ठीक है, I have my life, I am still alive, I have their memories, I will move on with it, I will live with their non-existence, and then what will happen is I will move further in my life, remembering our promises, doing right by them, doing right by whatever they told me, and it is not going to be a very regular process. It is going to always be up and down, up and down, and up and down, right? Sometimes the memories will once again hit, although irregularly, although at a distance of time, it will take a lot of time to happen once again, but it still will keep on happening. Slowly but surely, it always will happen. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration, है ना? Now the spaces where we used to go with them, firstly we were feeling melancholic about it, will be felt with a soothing electric vibration. It will feel like a vibration which is very soothing, right? Whenever you will sit, okay, यहाँ पे मैं इसके साथ आता था चाय पीने, चलो फिर से चलते हैं. Then you go there and you buy yourself a cup of tea, you sit and you reminisce about whatever happened there, how many good talks you have had with them there, right? So it will have a sense of soothing vibrations there. Our senses restored, our senses now are restored, never to be the same, whisper to us, but they are never going to be the same as they were before. They existed, we can be and be better, for they existed, right? We'll never be the same after their loss, but we will exist. They existed signifies the sense of remembrance. It signifies the sense of nostalgia in a way. We can be and be better, है ना? We will be and we are better because of they exist, because they were there, they have existed in our life, they have played a very significant role, and we will never be the same as it was before, right? Why? Because of their loss, and because that they have taught us so much that we are not going to spiral back to wherever we started from. For they existed because they were present in our life, right? Because they were always there for us, right? Now they are not with us, but their sense of memories, their ideologies, their thoughts, their everything will live on with us. It will never go away. It will always stay with us. And this is how the poem ends. It is a very beautiful note, and this is very important and significant from the board point of view as well, right? So some key phrases that I would like to use will be these, right? These, and peace blooms is also a very good keyword if you will use it, right? And bound to them, this is also a very good, great keyword. Unutterable ignorance, this is very important. This is very, very important, right? Shrink and vision could be very important as well. So why am I marking this all, right? I am marking all of this because this all could be asked, this all would be used in your answers whenever you are forming answers for the board point of view. So now let's touch upon a little bit of the themes of the poem, right? Right. What were the themes? A sense of loss, firstly, sense of loss, remembrance, remembrance, strength, emotional turmoil, and this is one of the most important themes from my point of view, acceptance of loss, right? So all of these are very important themes of this poem, right? Firstly, it talks about a very great sense of loss when somebody close to you dies. Then it talks about a sense of acceptance in the later half of the poem. It also showcases the strength within the individual who has passed away. It has a sense of remembrance. The poem has a sense of remembrance, and it also has a sense of emotional turmoil in it as well. What is emotional turmoil? Basically, when somebody passes, you, whatever you feel, that is emotional turmoil, right? You are not able to make peace with it. You are not able to console yourself on that great loss. So that is what emotional turmoil is. With that, we have come to the end of today's poem. If you do have any doubts, any questions, any queries, or where I could have been uh, elaborate, or where I could have explained better, definitely leave it in the comments. We'll see you with another video. Till then, keep smiling and keep learning.